All right. Good afternoon, Rams. Welcome to another edition of Ram Chat. Tonight, National Decision Day just passed, and we know a lot of you have decided to become Rams officially, which we're excited for you. That's awesome. We're really excited to welcome you here in the fall on campus. We also know that some of you are still making that decision on whether CSU is the right fit for you. So feel free to ask questions tonight as well if you're kind of on the fence talking about things. But we also know that this is a time where you're going to have a lot of questions about next steps in the process in terms of orientation, placement exams, health records, housing and dining, all that kind of stuff. So that's what this ramp chat is really good for, is just to kind of answer those questions and kind of help you find the resources to get those questions answered. So as always, you can submit your questions via the RAM chat page. Also, if you're on their schools app for admitted students or on any type of social media, you can use the hashtag RamChat, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. We'll have a lot coming in, but we'll definitely do our best to answer those for you. I'm very excited for our panel tonight. We have some awesome all-star people here with us today. So real quick, I'm going to have them briefly introduce themselves, kind of like let you know a little bit some background behind them, and then we'll kind of get started from there. So I'll have my students introduce themselves first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elon Stribling. I'm a sophomore here at CSU. I'm studying wildlife biology and conservation. Born and raised in Denver, Colorado, and a few of my involvements on campus are I'm an admission ambassador. I am a ram handler, so I help take care of our mascot, Cam the Ram. I'm part of the Black African American Cultural Center here on campus, as well as I just love doing anything outdoors.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Riley. I'm a senior, originally from the San Francisco Bay Area of California. I'm a senior studying biology with a minor in business, and I have been involved in many things, including student government, a residential learning community within my residence hall, as well as being an admissions ambassador. And we also have Cam the Ram here with us today.
Awesome. How about Melanie and Zach?
Hi, I'm Melody. I'm with the CSU Health Network, and the Health Network is actually the student health and counseling services on campus. We provide everything from medical care to counseling to health education and prevention services, because we know that every student's success is really dependent on their health and well-being as well. So I can answer any questions that you have about health and counseling services on campus, as well as any health requirements like immunizations, insurance, that type of thing. And Zach.
Yeah, my name's Zach Mercurio. I serve as the Assistant Director for Orientation Programs. So I oversee and coordinate all of our new student orientation programs. So your RAM orientation program this summer, which is your next step and really your first step towards graduating from CSU. And so I can answer a lot of questions on preparing for your orientation session, reserving your orientation session, as well as how you can best prepare yourself to come on campus, make the most out of the experience, and also make the most out of your appointment with your academic advisor, which will also be happening at orientation.
And John.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Moss. I'm Assistant Director of Residence Life with Housing and Dining Services. I look forward to any and all questions you might have on housing or dining or services. I can cover all of that. We know that at this point in the year, maybe you have applied for housing and you have questions about your application status, or perhaps you've started to reconsider what some of your other options might be, what that might look like. Maybe you haven't applied yet. Don't be afraid. There's still plenty of space. We'll be happy to have your application, and you might have questions about the application process, roommate matching, any other changes you might be looking to make in the coming months as we inch closer to fall opening in August. And certainly if you have questions about that, about what the big move-in day looks like, how to prepare, what to bring, etc., I look forward to any and all questions you might have.
Awesome. Thank you, panel. And again, my name is Vinny. I forgot to introduce myself. I am one of the counselors here in the Office of Admissions. But we'll go ahead and get started with our first question. Kendall would like to know, what are some things to bring for your room? This could actually be answered. We'll start with our students talking about what you had in the residence hall, that kind of stuff. And maybe John can touch on maybe what not to bring, things like that as well.
Awesome. That's a great question. I think bringing touches of home, like pictures and comfy pillows or stuffed animals, like that's always great. Amplifying your storage is really important. I had my bed lofted my first year so that I could have storage containers underneath my bed so that I really could bring all the clothes that I wanted to, even though I probably brought too much. And I really recommend having a power strip, with multiple different electrical outlets on that, because there are only a few wall outlets in the residence hall room. So that's really important. And then wall hanging devices, if you want to hang pictures so that you don't nail any holes into the wall and damage those. Those are great. I personally got a lot of things from Bed Bath & Beyond and Target and Walmart. They have really good resources for moving into the residence halls.
So a lot of that was good advice, storage solutions, ways to be creative with the space you and your roommate are sharing. One of the pieces of advice I definitely give to a lot of students and families is don't feel like you need to bring it all at once. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to go get additional items that you might need, things that you overlooked in the packing or didn't realize you were going to need. During RAM Welcome, in fact, the first few days before classes start, between when the halls open and classes get underway, one of the events traditionally, and I don't know if Zach will cue me as to if this is still on the agenda, but Target Night I think has been pretty successful for students to go on a big shopping trip with their fellow new Rams during RAM Welcome to get sort of an exclusive shopping evening at Target to go pick up the last few options. Remember, you're going to be sharing space with someone in all likelihood, as with a roommate. So talking with one another about the things you plan to bring, ways you can maximize that space, and don't feel like you need to recreate every single comfort of home. A few pictures, mementos, things to personalize the space, that's great. But too much stuff might start to become a little bit of a nuisance. And some of the stuff you definitely shouldn't bring. One, visit our website. We've got lots of information about items that are okay to bring, items that are not. Certainly anything in the way of a fire hazard, so candles, incense, those are a no-go. Any appliances with open coil heating, so toasters, toaster ovens, hot plates, things like that, are just present a danger risk that we think it's best for students not to bring those kinds of things to the room. Halogen lamps or halogen bulbs just burn really hot. So a lot of things that we prohibit, it's really based on student safety and safety for our residence halls. So we do offer student kitchens and places for people to cook so that they're not trying to do all of that within their own room. And again, our website's going to be a great resource, and we'll send communication out over the summer as we prepare for move-in to give more details about what to bring, what not to bring, traffic, parking, the whole check-in process, etc. So that's something for students and families to look forward to later.
Awesome, thank you. So this question can be directed towards Zach. Jeannie would like to know what happens at orientation.
That's a great question. So orientation is, like I said, it's really your first step towards graduation. And so what we mean by that is we really want to prepare you for what the expectations are of being a CSU student. And there are 4 major ways we do that. The first is really engaging you with the community. CSU is a big place, but at orientation you're going to have the campus focused on a small group of you all. So each session is capped at 225 students, and that's really designed to help you have a small experience. And you'll also be with an orientation leader and around 15 to 20 of your peers. So you'll get to make really good, meaningful connections with fellow students before you start. So our goal is that you leave in the summer with a phone number, an email address, with a current student and some fellow incoming students, so that when you start you have that community. So that first area is creating that sense of community. I would say the second is If I were to ask you how many of you all are coming to CSU to graduate, I would hope, and probably your parents, families, and support would also say that you are here to graduate, would be glad to hear that you are here to graduate, but doing well in the classroom. So most of you all, 99% of you, have not been a CSU student before. And so being knowledgeable about what we know helps students to be successful here at the university is really important. You'll get to sit in a classroom and you'll get to hear from a professional staff member, some of our current students, on how they got the most out of their classes and also the co-curricular opportunities outside of class. And the third piece is active engagement, so getting involved. So you actually get to sign up for involvement opportunities, learn more about all the resources that Colorado State has to offer, and really learn how to get actively engaged early so that when you come on campus, you kind of have an idea of the things you want to get engaged with, and you have some people that you've already talked to, and so you can make really good choices as you start and really get off to a good start. And then the fourth piece is understanding that this idea of diversity, that everybody coming to this campus has a really unique story about how they got here, but has two things in common. One, they want to graduate, and two, they're a CSU RAM. And so we're really going to immerse you into the history, traditions of what it means to be a RAM and what it means to go to this place that's graduated, over 190,000 people into the world. So it's a really exciting time, and above all, you'll leave with a course schedule. You'll get to meet with your academic advisor face-to-face. You'll get to meet students in your department, in your major, and begin forming that relationship with that advisor who's going to really set you up for success in the future.
Awesome, thank you, Zach. So this next question be directed towards John. So there's actually two questions I'll have you answer. So the first one, Danielle would like to know, what is the deadline for housing? And then this next one, Anna and a lot of other students would like to know, when can we expect to hear back from about my housing application?
Great questions. The deadline is never. There is no deadline. We will be happy to accept applications from students as long as we have space available and there are students interested in housing. They are welcome to contact our office. They're welcome to go online and apply, or even, and in some cases, we've had students arrive shortly before or shortly after classes have started who are looking for a place to live. And if we have bed space, we are happy to make that available to any and all students who might be interested. The second question could be a little complicated as the assignments process does start to slow down as we get into summer. We do consider all applications in the order they're received, so the date that application was completed is set. It establishes where your position is in line, so to speak, for assignments. And at this point in the summer, as we get into May, June, July, we are still going to try to do our best to find an assignment that matches with your preferences, the preferences you put on your application. But in order to do that, it might mean we need to take a little more time with the application as we see some halls in some communities, some learning communities may currently be full, but as we monitor students who may be canceling and changing their plans, as we see students who are applying for learning communities that still have separate application processes that need to be completed, it does create opportunities for students to get into one of their top preferred residence halls. So we appreciate your patience. We also understand your enthusiasm, but certainly know that there is a space. It is guaranteed for all incoming first-year students, and beyond that, for any transfers or otherwise that may be listening in, we have space for you as well. It just does take us a little while longer at this point in the process to really try to give each application as much consideration as possible.
Awesome, thank you, John. So this next question would be for Melody. Mel would like to know, how does the health center work? What services are available?
Sure. Well, first of all, the services that are available on campus are medical services, counseling services, health education and prevention. We have a medical clinic, we have a pharmacy, we have a dental office, an optometrist, physical therapy, really a lot of the services that you as a student might need during your time here at CSU. The way that it works is that every enrolled student has access to our services. So for medical services, for example, you can just call and schedule an appointment with a provider, or if it's something that's urgent, you can just walk right in and see a provider. For counseling services, the same thing. You can call and schedule an appointment. You can just walk in if you really need to speak to someone. So it's pretty easy and it's accessible and pretty comprehensive too.
Awesome, thank you. So this next question will be for our students, probably Elin because he's on the snowboard team, but how is the skiing? Should I buy a season pass? Jeannie would like to know.
Yeah, so luckily we live in Colorado. CSU is in Colorado, so we have a lot of really awesome ski resorts across the state. This year I had the Epic Local Pass, and it got me to places like Breckenridge, Keystone, Arapahoe Basin, Vail, and things like that. So, and then there's other passes like the Rocky Mountain Super Pass, where if you want to go to Copper or Winter Park, or other places, Steamboat, other places like that, you have the opportunity to. So it's kind of just really picking and choosing like, what you think will be the best mountain for you. I like big terrain parks. I'm on the CSU snowboard team here, so I like doing tricks and kind of doing freestyle and things like that. So I chose Keystone and Breckenridge, but I grew up riding at Winter Park, so that's always a favorite place to go. And even because I don't have a pass there, I still, whenever my friends from CSU are saying, hey, we want to go to Winter Park for the weekend, or we want to go to Copper for the weekend, I'll say, can I catch a ride with you, and kind of bum it with them. So it's really, I really enjoy snowboarding in Colorado, but it's really kind of wherever you think the best place is for you, and see where your friends are going to go. If you meet someone when you come to CSU and they say, hey, I plan on going to Copper or Winter Park all year, maybe get the Rocky Mountain Super Pass and ski and snowboard with them. Or if you want to try new places and you've never been to Keystone and Breckenridge, try the Epic Local Pass. And the closest mountain is about 45 minutes, an hour away. And then a lot of the main resorts are on the I-70 corridor going west, and that's Winter Park, Copper, Breckenridge, Vail, Keystone, and things like that. So we have a lot of options kind of on I-70, so yeah, that would be my advice for skiing and snowboarding.
Awesome, thank you, Elin. So this next question can be for Zach. Carl would like to know, can I take the math placement exam remotely before I attend orientation?
Yes, you can. So, in fact, we would recommend and strongly encourage everybody to take the math placement exam prior to coming. If you go to math.colostate.edu, there's a placement exam link there. There's a really good step-by-step guide on how to take the placement exam online. You can actually even take the placement exam online in a proctored setting if you have a webcam, and they have all of the requirements for your system over there as well. And I would say in regards to placement exams just in general, there's also a composition placement exam and a foreign language placement exam. Your mathematics and composition placement exams, regardless of your AP or IB scores, we really strongly encourage you to take those at least a week prior to you attending. That's going to really help your advisor to make sure that you're in the appropriate mathematics and composition courses. And then if your major does have some foreign language requirements, the foreign language placement exam as well. But in short, you can take these placement exams remotely, and we strongly encourage you to do that as soon as possible. And at the same time, make sure that you prepare before you take the mathematics placement exam, because it's really going to serve you better in the long run if your advisor has an accurate picture of where you're at in terms of your math requirements. And then some of you may be wondering in terms of well, what if an AP score comes in, in July? You have open registration, so you can work with your advisor to shift around your math courses. But the key is leaving orientation with a full load of courses, and taking your placement exams beforehand will help you out with that. So the two websites are math.colostate.edu and then comp.colostate.edu. And then on our website at www.otp.colostate.edu, you can find a lot more information about placement exams.
Awesome, thank you, Zach. So this next one can be directed towards John. So Kirsten would like to know, I've matched with a roommate on RoomSync. What is the next step?
Hang tight. That's all. Once the students have made a mutual match on RoomSync, that information gets logged into our system, and students don't need to do anything else. That the match they make on RoomSync will supersede any requests they may have made for a different roommate on their application, or any other requests they may have sent in with regard to a roommate, because we really want to emphasize students using RoomSync to make that match themselves. So it'll still be a while before we send confirmation. We do that in mid to late July as orientation is wrapping up, just to give students that opportunity to come to campus to orientation and perhaps gain a new perspective on the things they might be looking for their housing, and possibly making a roommate match that way. But RoomSync matches, once they're done, so are you.
Awesome, thank you, John. So this next question can be directed towards Melody. Kirsten would like to know, when do we need to send in our vaccine and immunization records?
Good question. Your immunization records are due by the first day of class. So ideally, when you come to orientation, the folks at orientation have drop boxes in various locations, and you can drop them there. You can also scan them and email them into our office. You can fax them in, you can mail them in, or you can just hand deliver them to the health center when you arrive on campus. There's more information about all of those ways to deliver your immunization records at our website, which is health.colostate.edu. There are 2 immunization requirements at CSU, one of which is that all students need to show proof of their MMR, which is the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. And then the second one only applies to those students that are going to be living on campus, and that is the meningitis vaccine requirement. And so again, if you want to learn more about the immunization requirements, just go to our website, health.colostate.edu.
Awesome, thank you, Melody. So this next one I'm actually going to answer. So I have a couple questions. Megan would like to know about the CSUSA, the Colorado State University Scholarship Application. When do you hear back? And then, so I'll answer that first, and then I'll answer the second one. So the CSUSA, they're in the process of sending out those announcement letters, so that can really vary depending on when you receive notice about those scholarships. The biggest thing right now is to be patient, but I would definitely reach out to our student financial services and to call their main line. We have phone counselors that are awesome. They'll be able to kind of give you an idea of the timeline for things, kind of let you know the status of stuff. So definitely, make sure you reach out to them. You can contact them through our student financial services website, which is sfs.colostate.edu. And then also, with that, we'll have Denara actually asked, will we receive a letter saying how much it will cost to attend CSU? So on your RamWeb account, there is a section that says financial aid. You'll be able to select that option and select your award year, which would be 2015, 2016, and on there it'll have the cost of attendance for CSU, as well as any awards that you received, student loans, grants, all that kind of stuff will be on there. If you have any issues with that, definitely contact Student Financial Services as well. They'll be able to kind of help you out, maybe if you need to add anything else, that kind of stuff. And then this next question can be directed towards John. So Grant would like to know, will I be notified if I am moved off the wait list to a different hall?
Yes. So we have been pretty successful so far in being able to grant a number of waitlist requests from students who wanted to make a change from their initial assignment. It's a pretty simple process that you'll get an email notification indicating that your assignment information has been updated with a link. You can click on that link, log back in, and view your assignment information. For those of you who may have gotten an assignment, gone on the wait list, and also been participating in RoomSync, please know that there can be a little bit of a lag between getting your new assignment and being able to access your new RoomSync network, which would in effect be if you've been assigned to one hall and been browsing potential roommates that are going to live in that hall, and now you've been assigned to a different hall and would like to browse those roommates, you need to give it about a half a day before that that switchover takes place. So yes, you'll be notified about your assignment change, and then you'll also later receive a notification that your RoomSync invitation has been updated as well.
Awesome, thank you, John. So thank you for tweeting. But Brianna, I'll kind of answer this question, but she asked, can ACT scores make you exempt from either entrance exams? So yes, but I definitely encourage you to really reach out and read those entrance exam requirements, because they really vary for different English composition classes, things like that. So definitely make sure you reference our website for that. Again, that's comp.collegestate.edu to really look at those requirements. And if you do have more questions about that, feel free to reach out to us, email us, contact us in regards to that. So this next question can be directed towards Rachel. So she would like to know, when do we sign up for class? Katie would like to know. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Clubs. Katie would like to know, when do we sign up for clubs? I apologize.
That's that question, yeah. So clubs can be signed up for at orientation. During part of your time at orientation, there will be lots of different clubs and organizations that will have email lists, and so you can find out about what they offer and what they do on campus. But then also during the first couple weeks of classes, we have a huge involvement fair. It's 2 days. It takes up the entire plaza area outside of our student center. And so many more clubs and organizations come, and really it's kind of like adult trick-or-treating, we like to say, and you just go around, put your email there. They'll typically give you candy, so why not put your email down? I think it's a good idea to sign up for about 5 to 10 different clubs and go to at least those first meetings and see where you can really find your place, and hopefully you can really find your niche, your RAM family on campus.
Awesome, thank you, Rachel. I apologize for that. But this question will be directed towards Zach. So can we find out who our academic counselor is prior to orientation? Sam would like to know.
Yeah, that really depends on your major, who your academic advisor is. And you can do that. You can actually, if you'd like, you can email the department. So you can go on the website and get the departmental email and email them and just let them know you're an incoming student. You'd like to know who the academic advisor will be. You could also email our office at orientation@collegestate.edu, and we'll be happy to help you find that information. I do want to say we have a group of orientation advisors from each college and our academic support coordinators who work on behalf of each department and really specialize in working with new students, and so you'll get to meet them face-to-face at orientation. But if you'd like their name and their contact information, feel free to email the department directly or email our office at orientation@collegestate.edu, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with that advisor.
Awesome, thank you, Zach. So this next question can be directed towards Melody. So Ramon would like to know, I have a health condition. How do I transfer my care to the health center at CSU?
That's a really good question, and it's actually quite easy. So during the summer, when you're here for orientation, you can schedule an appointment with one of our medical providers, and that'll be sort of what we like to call it's a continuity of care appointment. It helps our providers get to know you, your medical condition, any special needs that you might have, and that way the first time you come to see us in the fall, we'll already have all that information. So at that time, you can even transfer your prescriptions to our pharmacy. You can talk to the provider. You can get an idea of what kinds of services you might need and how that process will work. And again, there's more information on our website about that too, health.collegestate.edu.
Awesome, thank you, Melody. So this next question can be directed towards Rachel. So Jill would like to know, what is your best advice for students coming from out of state? Rachel, I think you're still on mute.
Sorry about that. So it is a little bit challenging coming from out of state. I didn't know anyone coming here, and so it was just a blank canvas for me moving in on move-in day. And I think with orientation and RAM welcome that happen, it's a great way to get to know people right off the bat, and everybody's kind of on the same playing field already. Everybody's nervous about coming to college, and so I just really think getting out there and getting involved and staying true to who you are and what you do want to make your college experience about will be really beneficial during your first couple of months, semesters, year on campus, just so that you can have that meaningful, purposeful transition while still playing to your passions and getting involved with the classroom and outside of the classroom as well.
Awesome, thank you, Rachel. So this next question I'll answer. Cassie would like to know, how can I join the schools app, which is our admitted student community where you can connect with current admitted students that are coming to CSU, hang out, set up meetups, talk with them, and you can definitely join that by going to our admissions website, admissions.collegestate.edu/admitted student community. So it's on our website. There's a few different links on there. We can click on it, but yeah, you can definitely sign up for it there. I encourage you to sign up. It's really cool opportunity for students. This next question can be directed towards Zach. So Emily would like to know, how do they pick roommates for the overnight stay at orientation?
Great question, and it's actually random. So yeah, we do random room assignments for that evening, and right now, we do that for a number of reasons. Number one is you'll get to meet someone new, but also get the experience of living in a residence hall room prior to when you actually have to do it for real when you come in August. And we actually have summer resident assistants, RAs, and so we really try to recreate what that environment is going to be like for you. So we do assign roommates as people arrive at orientation. And it is done kind of on a relatively random basis. And if you have any concerns about your roommate or that assignment after you get to orientation, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to work with you all on that. You'll be in a suite-style residence hall in Braden Hall for your overnight session, so you'll get an experience of what that's like, as well as get to experience the dining center there in Braden Hall. Good question.
Awesome, thank you, Zach. So this next question, I've actually had multiple questions asking about having jobs on campus and during your time at CSU. So I'll direct this towards our students. So are there good job opportunities in the Fort Collins area for CSU students? Where can I find a job? Do you recommend having a job your first semester at CSU?
Hmm. All right. Well, like myself, my mom didn't want me to have a job my first semester here at CSU just so I can focus mainly on academics. So I think that was really beneficial. But a lot of students do need jobs while they're in college or on campus and things like that. The cool thing I've found about not only the CSU community but the Fort Collins community is a lot of the businesses and organizations believe academics first. So a lot of them will plan your kind of your work schedule around maybe your class schedule or time you need to study. So it is going to class and then having a job. It's not like my job is overtaking my class schedule. So that's what I found personally. You want to add anything?
I've had various different jobs on campus, including student government. So there are a couple of positions within our Associated Students of Colorado State, our student government here on campus, that are paid positions. So that's really cool to have sort of like a paid involvement. And then I was paid for undergraduate research within the biology department for 2.5 years. And then I've also worked in marketing offices as well as this position giving tours as an admissions ambassador is paid. And so it's really cool just to get to talk about why you love CSU so much, and meet awesome people. So I've loved working on campus because it's really flexible with your class schedule. And like Elin said, your employer will never forget that you are a student first, and that's why you're here in Fort Collins mainly.
I'll jump in on this one a little bit too. Housing and Dining Services employs over 1,000 students in some of the roles that the students just mentioned as well. There's leadership positions as a resident assistant, which comes with free room and board, which is a pretty considerable financial benefit to students to have a place to live and a meal plan, and the leadership experiences that are gained through that position. But also a number of student hourly roles in our dining service areas, in the dining centers, in our convenience locations, at front desks, working with our maintenance staff, with our tech staff. And one misconception that we hear a lot from students and families is the belief that you have to have work study to get a job on campus. And that isn't necessarily the case. If you've got work study, that's fantastic. We're happy to work with you for our positions, as I'm sure a number of other campus offices are as well. But for students who are just looking for a part-time job that can flex around their schedule, that is convenient, particularly as you're living on campus, to be able to commute potentially as short as just to the lobby of your building to get to work is a great resource. And while we do also hear some students and families talk about really wanting to take that first year to focus on academics and not have a job, there's a good amount of information out there that shows that students who have a part-time job and some other activities that they're participating in during their first year and beyond really actually does help students manage their time better, to have some organized things in their schedule from one day to the next of knowing, okay, this is the time I need to be studying because I need to prepare to go to work at this time and go to class at this time, can really be helpful. So don't want to discourage students from looking at campus employment in their first year and beyond, as jobs that you get in your first year could potentially be something that you're able to do your second year, your third year. There are some opportunities that come with potential for advancement to become student managers. Some of the positions I know in housing and dining offer that opportunity. So really strongly consider a part-time job as a way to put a little money in your pocket, to help organize and manage your time, and similar to what Zach was referring to, is ways to make small experiences out of a large school. Getting to know the people you work with makes for another small community, a small place to make connections with a really large community of peers and students.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Thank you, students. Really appreciate that. Again, just kind of a reminder on that. To apply for jobs, you can do that via your RAM web account. There is a list, a link on there that says student job listings. That is there's a whole list that gets updated daily, different jobs on campus and even within the community Fort Collins that people are looking for. So definitely make sure you're looking at that opportunity. Also, definitely use our Career Center on campus. They're great for helping you find jobs, even if you want to like get an internship within your field, things like that. So they're an awesome resources for students as well. But moving on, this question can be directed towards Melody. So Bree would like to know, I've heard of this program called RAMCare. What is it?
RAMCare, great question. So at CSU, we have a health insurance requirement, just like most universities across the nation. And you can either, or students can either have their own private insurance or the student health insurance plan. So students are automatically enrolled in the student health insurance plan unless they waive it, which is an easy process. And when they waive it, that tells us that they have private health care insurance. And so RAMCare is not an insurance plan, it's actually a supplement plan, and it works really well for those students that might have health insurance plans with high deductibles, or they may have a provider network that's out of state. And so RAMCare will kind of pick up where insurance leaves off, and that allows students to really get in and out of the health center without having to pay really little, if anything, out of their pocket. So it's very inexpensive for students. It's only $175 a semester, but that $175 gets the student up to $1,500 in benefits. So it's a really great program. It works well for some students. It may not be a good fit for others. It really depends on your health insurance plan. And you can find lots more information about RAMCare on our website at health.collegestate.edu.
Awesome, thank you, Melody. So this next question, we've had actually a number of questions coming in, and I'll answer this one, but Melody, definitely, if you want to plug in on this, you definitely can. But we've had a number of questions surrounding like services for students who are diagnosed with learning disabilities. We have an awesome office on campus called Resources for Disabled Students. They're awesome for making different accommodations for students in many different capacities. So I definitely encourage reaching out and contacting their office. You can contact them through their website, which is rds.colostate.edu.
And Vinny, you're right, absolutely. RDS is a great resource. And also, in counseling services at the Health Network, we do have counselors that provide learning assistance, and there are lots of programs available for students in that area too.
I would also add that at orientation, you would have the opportunity to sit down with Resources for Disabled Students on the second day of orientation. If you'd like, there's a session on that second day as well, if you'd like to get questions answered from the Director of Resources for Disabled Students and their staffs. So.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate that. So this next question can be directed towards Zach again. So Tanisha would like to know, what if I can't attend orientation?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you're unable to attend any of our orientation dates, feel free to give our office a call. I would say that's the best course of action. So our phone number is 970-491-6011. You'll get to talk to one of our office assistants, and they're really helpful in working through individual circumstances and seeing how we could also help make it work for you to come on campus to an orientation program. And if you can't come, to still make sure that you get a comparable orientation experience, get connected with an academic advisor, and make sure you're prepared prior to your arrival in August. So we do work with individual cases on a case-by-case basis by calling our office, and you can also send us an email at orientation.colostate.edu. So feel free to do that and let them know kind of what your specific situation is, and we'll be happy to work with you.
Awesome, thank you. So this next question will be directed towards Eland. So Cassie would like to know, what are some clubs, different student organizations that are related to wildlife biology? And what should I expect as a wildlife biology major?
Great question. A few clubs or one club that I'm involved in, that kind of has to do with wildlife biology slash fisheries and conservation is I'm in a fly tying and fly fishing club. So we meet once a week. We tie flies that we use to fish with, and then we go out every couple of weeks or once a week if we can, and fish, and just talk about like being outdoors. Um, Besides that, I can't think of any more clubs and organizations, but in our rec center, we have something called our outdoors programs, and that's a great resource that a lot of students use who aren't wildlife biology or conservation, where they get to take backpacking trips, hikes, ice climbing, rock climbing, bouldering, really kind of anything outdoors. They kind of have the first hand to, the first go to. So that's kind of the clubs and organizations. So you can go to our SLICE office, which stands for Student Leadership Involvement Community Engagement, at Colorado State, or just look for that at Colorado State, and you'll get more information there about the different clubs we have, maybe something that you're interested in with the major or not in the major, and then in regards to what can you expect as a wildlife biology student, a lot of science, a lot of math classes, but our college is housed in the Warner College of Natural Resources, and like any college here at CSU, Warner College is a big family, so it's really a fun time to, when you go to your classes, a lot of students will be wildlife biology, fisheries, forestry, ecosystem management, and you can really kind of create those families, those small bonds. And then there's like a lot of really cool classes that I've taken since changing my major, because I was animal scientist, so I switched to wildlife biology because that's where my passion is. And there's a class called FW111 where you pretty much just get to, for a weekend, you go out and you learn how to fish, you learn how to like track animals, how to use GPS and map and compass. A lot of our classes have labs with them, so you do get a lot of hands-on experience with like seeing different types of animals, classifying them, as well as getting the chance to dissect some if you'd like. So really, within our major, it is a lot of hands-on experience, as also networking and meeting just a lot of really great people. So I hope that answers your question.
All right, thanks, Elin. It makes me want to be a wildlife biology now. But so this next question can be directed towards, Rachel. Katie would like to know, how is the transportation in Fort Collins? Is there free transportation options for students?
That's an awesome question, especially because the CSU and Fort Collins have so many transportation options for students. For example, we have a contract with the city of Fort Collins. Their bus system is called the transport system, and all full-time fee-paying students can ride those buses in and around Fort Collins for free. And they also have connections to RTD that is run through the city of Denver. So if students need to get to and from Denver, they have those options there. We also, with transport, have a system called MAX, and that goes up and down our Mason Street corridor, north and south, all the way north to Old Town and all the way south to South Fort Collins, and that is free for students. And then there's also so many different bike options. Fort Collins is a platinum biking community, and so lots of different people bike. And if you do want to bring your car on campus, there are parking lots, but really most students bike, walk, or take the bus to and from school.
Awesome, thank you. So this next question be directed towards John. So we've had a lot of students ask, where can I find info on RoomSync?
So information on RoomSync, there's a couple of different options. One, you can always contact our office if you have questions, and we'll do our best to walk you through that. RoomSync is an app that works via Facebook, so it does require students have a Facebook profile. And if you go to the search bar in Facebook and just type in RoomSync, RoomSync, all one word, you will see the RoomSync app come up. If you select it, they'll have additional information there that allows you to learn a little bit more about the program. And also, once you've been assigned to your residence hall or your residential learning community, you can choose to go into the Facebook app, the RoomSync app, and create a profile and use the program without being committed to have to select a roommate. So I know that there are some students who like to go in just to give themselves the option, get comfortable in the room sync environment, see a little bit more about who are other people that are going to be living in their community, which is kind of a little hidden bonus that you can see profiles just of other students who are also going to be living in that hall or in that learning community. You're under no obligation to select a roommate that way. You can make the choice if there's not someone that you're feeling is a good match for you. That's fine. You do not have to make a selection via RoomSync. We will use the information you provide on your application to select a roommate based on that information. Getting into RoomSync, I think, is one of the best ways students can learn a little bit more about how it works, what its options are, what they might be looking for in a roommate. I think it's also just a good assessment tool. Maybe you haven't really thought a lot about what it's going to be like to live with someone if you don't currently share a bedroom, or maybe haven't in a while, and start to really get a sense of, these are things I need to think about. I don't know how I feel about having overnight guests. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with someone studying in the room and they want to have music or the TV or something on. I need to think about that. So going to the RoomSync app in Facebook is a great way to learn a little bit more about the program and learn a little bit more about what you might be looking for and needing out of a roommate.
Awesome. Thank you, John. So this next question will be directed towards Zach. Vicky would like to know, what happens if we don't take the placement exams?
Yeah, good question. If you don't take the placement exams, what will happen is your advisor will place you into courses at probably for mathematics and then composition, probably the lower level courses that you need. One of the issues with that is, depending on your curriculum, that can set you behind in some cases if you're not getting the proper prerequisites met for your math requirements for your major. It may mean taking more math courses or a different comp course, and so it is really important that you do take both of those placement exams, because what that's going to do is it's going to really help your advisor have the most information possible to make sure that you're set off on a path to graduate on time and also to meet your own academic goals. And on the flip side of that, also some talk about not taking the placement exam because of specific test scores or whatever, but it's a really good idea to take it because you also don't want to be in a math course here at CSU that doesn't necessarily match your experience with math specifically. And so I would encourage everybody to take it. Make sure that you take it before you come on campus and meet with that advisor. If you don't take it, your advisor is going to have a little bit of more of a difficult time placing you in your math and comp courses, and in some cases that can have some implications on your registration and prerequisites. So I would recommend taking it. Did I say to take it? Take the placement exams?
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. So this next question actually can be directed towards Melody. So Devin would like to know, what is Alcohol EDU and Haven?
Good questions. Alcohol EDU and Haven, which is our sexual assault prevention program, are both online classes that all new students are required to take before coming to campus. So Alcohol EDU is required for every student that is under age 23. It is, again, an online course. Students have access to the course about 30 days before the first day of class, and it's actually due on the first day of class. It's a tailored experience for each student, and really what it does is it helps that student evaluate perceptions around alcohol before coming to campus. So it's an educational program. It is required. If you don't complete it, you'll get a hold on your registration. So that's how important we feel that it is that every student is educated. The second component of that is Haven Sexual Assault Prevention, and again, that's an online module, and all students are required to complete this module, again, before the first day of class. When you log into your registration program, it's called RamWeb. The link to both of those will be on your RamWeb account about 30 days before the first day of class. And again, there is lots of information online on our website about both of those programs too.
Awesome, thank you, Melody. So this next question will be directed towards John. So Gail would like to know, do most people in the residence halls get a mini fridge? And if so, can those be rented?
You know, I'm not sure if I can say most. I think maybe the students can reply to that a little bit too as to what they had in their residence halls. I'm sure a lot do. We certainly see a lot of them coming into the halls on move-in day and a lot going out on move-out day. There is a rental option. You can find information on our website. It's a micro fridge rental. It's a combination microwave, freezer, refrigerator unit all in one. So you only have to plug in one thing versus plugging in 2 or 3. Those are available for rent. They will deliver those to the room prior to the start of the school year, and then they'll come pick them up at the end. But I think a lot of students opt to purchase those. They're fairly inexpensive, or they're handed down from family members. I've heard stories out there of a fridge making its way from a parent to student, or sibling to younger sibling, or from a cousin. So look around out there. There might be current students who have opted to live off campus who are looking to make a few bucks to sell a mini fridge that they don't need anymore in their apartment or their house, wherever they might be living. So there's, I'm sure, plenty of opportunities for students to get a fridge and keep a few items cool for your refreshment as the year goes on.
Yeah, and just to go off what John said, I myself had a mini fridge, but it was quite larger than a mini fridge. It was almost a full-size refrigerator, just a little bit shorter, as well as I had a microwave. Sorry, John. As well as I had a microwave that was on top of that was pretty small. It wasn't a full-size refrigerator. It was a mini fridge, but it was just a bit kind of wider so I can put more of my junk food inside.
I did the renting of the micro fridge, and that was really convenient, especially coming from out of state, not having to figure out how to bring a fridge and a microwave across miles and miles.
Awesome, thank you. So I'll give this to our students as well. So Rachel, I'll have you start off, but of all the places and all the schools available to you, why did you choose CSU? A parent's asking this, and Elin, feel free to tag on afterward as well.
Okay, I applied to 8 different schools when I was a senior in high school, and this was on top of many, many schools that I had gone to visit. I'm the youngest of 3, so between me, my brother, and my sister, I had seen, I believe, every single university in the state of California, and so I knew kind of what I wanted, what I didn't want, and going out of state was something that I kind of just set my sights on. So coming to CSU the first time, I was a junior, and I really just felt that sense of community. Like, I'd never been to campus before, but I felt like I already had because it was familiar. It felt like home a little bit already. And I talked to one student, and I asked him what his favorite thing about campus was, and he said the community, just because everyone like truly cares about each other. And that was something that really spoke volumes to me. And then after doing more research and talking to more students that, you know, through RAM chat situations, that I just really felt that that was going to be the place for me. CSU's campus is gorgeous. Fort Collins is a great college town. There's lots of things to do, but still have the big university feel of, you know, being able to participate in research, have Division I athletics teams that do awesome, but still have the small school connections that I have made throughout my 4 years.
Thanks, Rachel. I chose CSU. Unlike Rachel, I didn't apply to a lot of schools, or I didn't even visit any schools. I just kind of thought, I've heard good things about Colorado State, so I should go. And then my mom said that after the first semester, if I didn't like it, or if I wasn't comfortable, we could go to another school and try something else. After my first semester here, I was like, this might be the greatest place on earth. I've found a sense of community with the people I've met in my classes, at the rec center, just walking around, seeing familiar faces, as well as there's always something to do academically, also socially. We have a bunch of academic clubs that I got involved in, as well as just walking around and meeting someone and being like, hey, do you want to play Ultimate Frisbee today? So like kind of what Rachel was saying, with the community, there's always someone with a smiling face that you can talk to. So that was kind of my CSU story. Once I came, I realized like I really enjoyed being here and the opportunities I've gotten. So
Awesome. Thank you, too. So this next question is directed to our professional staff. So Melody, Zach, and John, please feel free to answer. But what is your best advice for incoming students?
That's like a great question, and I would say, I've worked with orientation programs throughout the year, so I've been able to see students as they come onto campus, both in the summer and then through our RAM Welcome programs. And I would say that the biggest piece of advice I have is to really just immerse yourself here. I mean, plant both feet at CSU, and this place will really amaze you when you're able to just be fully present in what's going on here at CSU. And that means, staying on campus, during the weekends, and being on campus, engaging in our sporting events and our athletic teams, and going to those things that will bring this whole community together, because there really are very few points in life where you can be in a place where you can look around and have something in common with everybody. And I would say the most successful people are people who engaged early, right off the bat, starting with orientation. And our data on students who stay at the university really support that students who engage early in those first couple weeks are more likely to stay, and as Elin said, find community within that first semester, which ultimately carries them through towards their graduation.
If I could just add to that too, I mean, recognize that college is a fun place. You're going to have a great time. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to be a great experience. But also, it can be really hard. And don't be afraid to reach out to resources. And that's why all of us are here. There are many student support services to help you, especially if you're struggling. In fact, one of the biggest health conditions that affects a student's academic performance is stress. So try to find ways to reduce your stress, reach out for resources, seek counseling if you need to. We're all here to help you be successful.
And I think what I would offer is something very similar to what Melody and Zach shared, but what my twist on it would be is just keep an open mind. There's going to be so many things that you think need to be a certain way as you come into college. And if you keep an open mind, you're going to find so many other possibilities and opportunities to learn about yourself, to learn about others, to learn about this community that is the campus of CSU, and then the community that is the world we live in. So many times hearing stories from students and families about, they expected the roommate relationship to be a certain way. They expected their academic program to be a certain way. They having an expectation of these are the things you have to do to be successful in college, all of which are fine things and hopefully are good, positive, helpful things. But I know at times can maybe hold people back. So keeping that open mind, keeping yourself accessible to getting to know a roommate who might be very, very different from you, might be from a different country, might be into things that you have had no interest or contact with, and learning about that. Being open to people on your floor, in your residential community, who bring their own interesting stories and dynamics, and having the opportunity for you to share of yourself in that process. I think that's what makes the difference for what students experience, particularly living on campus. There's lots of different buildings with different amenities, different locations, a lot of things that students might be really excited thinking, oh, I have to live in a suite style building, or I need to live on this part of campus to be happy. And when you get here, what you find is that it's the people that you're around and the relationships you build with those people that make all the difference in the world. And keeping an open mind to those people and those experiences is going to make every difference for you being happy here at CSU and beyond.
Awesome. Great answers. Those are awesome. Last question of the night. Kevin would like to know, is this chat available after this broadcast? And the answer is yes, as well as many of our other RAM chats. They're all listed on our RAM chat page, our website. They're also going to be available on YouTube. So feel free to reference those for the future if you need to come back and need any questions answered. Speaking of getting questions answered, we answered a lot tonight, but we have a lot more, and definitely be patient with us. We'll answer the rest of your questions that didn't get answered tonight within a few business days. We'll definitely get back to you as soon as we can. But this will conclude our session of RAM Chat. I want to thank everyone volunteering tonight to be here to answer questions for our new students. And to new students out there, we're excited that you are coming to CSU, and we're excited to have you on campus. Over these next few months, finish strong in your last semester of school, but at the same time, be excited because you're about to start the next chapter in your life, and it's a really exciting time. And we're really excited to have you here, and be a part of RAM Nation. But from all of us here in Fort Collins, we bid you a good night and take care.